Even with high gas prices, people are taking to the roads for spring and family vacations. And North Carolina troopers are busy pulling people over.
And it begs the question many of you are asking. Are there ticket quotas in our state? WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg goes straight to the source to ask, where's the money?
It's the end of the month. You're running late for work, and you see the lights behind you. It's a scene all too familiar for some motorists, getting a traffic ticket. And some folks are convinced those end-of-the-month tickets are to meet a quota.
I will stop someone and someone will say, you're filling your quota for the day.
That's North Carolina Master Trooper Ray Pierce. He's been on the force for 23 years, and for all of those 23 years, he's heard this claim.
North Carolina is one of those states that has a general statute prohibiting quotas.
The law Trooper Pierce is referring to is NC Statute 20-187.3 that states the Secretary of Public Safety shall not make or permit to be made any order, rule, or regulation requiring the issuance of any minimum number of traffic citations or ticket quotas by any member or members of the State Highway Patrol.
A supervisor is unable to physically tell you we need this many citations per day, per week, per month.
Though the law only references State Highway Patrol, Matthews Police spokesman Tim Aycock tells us their department doesn't have a quota either.
It seems to be an ongoing urban legend over the years and decades. It kind of passes along like a bad rumor. We do not have a quota. We couldn't have a quota. It would be a huge legal issue.
That being said, departments do keep track of how many citations officers give out, as well as how many calls for service they answer.
Is tickets ever brought up?
Well, it is, because everything we do is numbers driven. We keep statistics on everything. So obviously that officer for their evaluation is going to see, how many citations they issued versus the previous year. But they're also going to see arrests and case reports and traffic crashes and what we call self-initiated calls for service.
It's just like any other profession. If you've got an employee that has been compensated for a 40-hour work week and they have nothing to show for that work week, obviously, yes, your supervisor is going to call you in and say you were compensated by the state for a 40-hour work week. You've got to show me something. You either have to show me calls for service that you've answered, something to justify basically getting that paycheck and getting paid by the citizens of North Carolina.
We have become increasingly dependent on a whole swath of fines and fees.
Patrick Mayhew, who is a research manager for the nonprofit NC Budget Tax Center, says more than $6 billion of the state's revenue comes from fines and fees.
You see where we are essentially using fines and fees to pay for things that we previously had been paying for with regular tax revenue.
And a study from the North Carolina Justice Center found that between 2011 and 2018, fines and fees collected by the state increased by 26%. Included in those fines and fees, tickets. We reached out to the State Highway Patrol asking if they could provide the number of speeding tickets handed out each day for 3 months. We wanted to see whether the pace of ticket writing increased towards the end of the month, but the state told us they only keep track of tickets given out per month or by year. In 2019, State Patrol issued 272,905 speeding tickets. 2020, around 264,000 speeding tickets. And in 2021, that number jumped to 311,462 speeding tickets.
Our agency has always been the same. It's been driven in us since day one. We write basically clear-cut and substantial violations. Any supervisor that you have is going to want you to go out there and write clear-cut and substantial violations.
And that's the distinction. Supervisors can ask officers to write citations for any significant infractions they observe, but they're not allowed to require officers to hit a certain number at the end of the month. Megan Bragg, WCNC Charlotte.